everyone. Is it too late to say Happy New Year? But Happy New Year.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Good to see everyone. So
Okay.
today it'll just be Hannah and I. Eric and Kelly have COVID in their house.
Oh, no.
Again,
Oh,
I
give them our
think
best.
they're very susceptible to it because I think this is the fourth or fifth time that Eric has had it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So, hope your holidays were good. Certainly everyone at Redwood had a nice little break over the holidays, and we've been back and kicking up the dust, getting ready for Art Expo New York, which happens the first weekend of April. And in New York, it's starting to be kind of the art fair season for sure. But those of you that were on the call last month might remember that the assignment was to think about your 2025 plan. So that's what we want to talk about today. And how are those plans coming? Do you have questions about what should I do about this or that? Anybody? Nobody has a
All
plan?
right. Yep, I definitely have. Rennie and I have got a plan together.
Good.
We have lists for shows that we wanted to apply to, which we've already done. Marketing, 5 different things for marketing. 3 of them are completed, and a website refresh, which we can't do quite at this time. So we're working through our list of things we want to do.
Okay, that's great. Good
Yeah.
for you. And in terms of the website refresh, what kind of things are?
Front page. We want to do some put different images on the front page of our website.
Okay.
It's
good.
been up for a couple of years, and we just need a refresh of that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
You know, Vivian and I just had a call recently, and one of the things that we spent time talking about was her statement. And that's really an important piece
Sure.
that everybody should have. It's important to have your bio, which is kind of a third person, from a distance. What is this artist all about? But a statement is your personal statement and kind of your why.
Yes.
Why you do what you do and what the inspiration is behind it. And so an artist statement can actually open doors as well as get people interested. We talk all the time about engaging and having, at the fairs, having an experience. And it's really the experience that people have with the art and the artist that makes them kind of confirms to them that, yes, they want to take this home or they want to put this in their office. So the artist statement is when you can't be right there in front of them,
Yes.
like in a gallery or at a fair, then the artist statement is this little window into what you're all about. And it can also be one of the things that kind of propels what you do, even on social media.
It might be a good idea to add a couple of video clips so they could see, action.
Yes.
That would help too.
Yeah. And, Hannah talks about that all the time in
Yeah.
terms of, that's a window in.
Yeah.
And on social media, all of you should be thinking about social media, not just as a place to post what you're doing, but even posting what you're doing is a little window in.
Mm.
Um, you know,
Good
I
point,
think we've
good point.
talked about it before, and Vivian and I talked about it. Kate Taylor, write her name down, look at her Instagram, because when she posts something, a lot of times it's a window in also to her lifestyle.
Mhm.
It's a window to where she is, how she lives. It might be a photo or a short little video of her painting out on the deck of her family cabin. And then she'll talk about why she loves being at the cabin and how the nature all around her is inspiring, yada yada. But when you're posting on Instagram, that's what engages people. Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good.
Paul,
Linda, the statement for me is the most difficult thing I have to deal with. I really don't know how long it should be, what should be included, what's good, what's not. It's my pet peeve.
well, I think that one of the things to do is look at other people's statements, see what they're saying about themselves, and find the one that you really like. But really, what is a statement? What is it about? It's exactly that. It's a statement of, who you are, and why you do what you do. It's first person. So it needs to be very genuine, and very real and truthful.
Linda, what
Yeah.
do you think about revisiting that artist statement every couple of years?
Oh, I
I
think
wrote
you
it
absolutely
years
should.
ago, and I think I need to go revisit it again.
Yeah, I think it always needs to feel like it's current, where
Mhm.
where you are at that moment in time. Paul, I see you have your hand up. If you're talking, you're on mute. Okay, maybe you don't mean to have your hand up. Shireen, you've got
Hey,
your
good
hand up.
morning, everyone. How are you? Or good afternoon. Sophie, I just wanted to say that I struggle with words. Eric's real good at them, but it's hard to get him to actually like pin him down and make him sit and write something like a lot of you artists are. So don't be scared of Chat GPT. Like I use it for all of our businesses, and I say like these are my keywords or my phrases, but I get stuck in like the same three phrases all the time for everything. And I feel like I sound really boring. And so I say, hey, Chat GPT, will you rewrite this for me? And I kind of give a tone of, I want, if I'm writing an email, like business friendly or business to a lead that doesn't really like me and I'm trying to win them over or whatever. And if you know want a statement, like sometimes you need 100-word statement or 200-word statement, and just keep asking it to rewrite it. Say, hey, I like this, I don't like that, and then take that and put it in your voice or keep some of it. But for me, like Chat GPT's become a really good, in the free version, way to get outside of my initial limitations. And then I get this like big thing that I would never get to. And then I can, you know what I mean? Like change it out. So I find it a really effective tool for, it's like having a sidekick that you're just like, hey, what would you say in this case? And then you can completely change the tone and it talks back to you nicely too. So anyhow, that's
I
what I've
really
got.
appreciate that feedback.
I use it when I get stuck, and
Yeah.
it's a really good tool. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Vivian?
And it remembers you, like it logs. That's the cool thing, is like the more you use it, like it logs everything. And I'll
Mhm.
be switching between different businesses and I'll be like, no, I'm not Von Siebert today. I'm Pirate Shack, or I'm this. And then it's like, oh, sorry, let's get here. And it's really cool. Like it really is helpful. So
Yeah, I think
Vivian?
so. I think that it could be helpful too. And you can adapt it so that it really does sound like something you would say so that it's credible. But I also wanted to say that, and thank you, Linda, once again for your time a while ago. That was super helpful. I've come up with really kind of a library of statements. I have a few of them that I pull from depending on what I'm going to apply to or for. And if it's going to be to a gallery, if it's going to be for a call to art, and depending on what that subject is, just to write stuff out, and then you can then manipulate them later. But to have those, that library to draw from, even if it's a sentence from one and a sentence from another, you can then tailor a statement for whatever that audience is going to be.
Yeah, I do think that it's important to have, I'll call it a library of statements.
This is the fourth. Oh, never mind.
Sorry, somebody unmuted. That, depending on, are you applying to, you're sending something to a gallery, or you're sending something to an organization, like a gallery association, or you're applying to a fair. Those kinds of things might need a little, or maybe not. Maybe it's, maybe your statement is, pretty crisp and clear. But, depending on what the organization is, sometimes in communities, the local museum will have a call for artists because they're going to do a particular show with a theme, and maybe you tweak your statement just a little bit so that it funnels into that theme and makes you just a little bit more noticeable to get the curators of the show to pay a little extra attention. So I think that, a bio is third person, and it is generally an overview of, your childhood, your education, where you've been, what you've done. So it's kind of, I'll call it the stats of you as an artist. But an artist statement is that window in to you personally, and is in the first person.
Linda, I also found it helped to have someone else look at it for a couple of reasons, for how it reads, and making sure that you get in there what you want to get in there. My daughter's a writer, for example, and so I said help and told her kind of what I wanted to say. And she didn't write it for me, but she tweaked what I wrote for me. And I think it made it so much better. She does that also with my descriptors for my images, for my art. But it helps to have that second person take a look at it with a fresh eye and see how it reads to them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And, that's one of the things as an Artist Club member that we're here to help with. So if you've got a statement, a bio, and you want someone to look at it, I'd be very happy to. So yeah. So, okay, let's go back to 2025 plans. Anybody else with a plan? Where are we going? What are we doing?
I have a show in Great Falls in March, part
Okay.
of Western Art Week. It's an annual show, and I've done it now for about 4 years. Not a big show, not a big national show, but it is a nationally known show. started with Charlie Russell
Oh,
and his works in the
yeah.
Charlie Russell Museum.
Yeah.
And it's just expanded into smaller shows around that. So Western art, contemporary art, quite a variety of art pieces in the show. So I'm thrilled to be doing it.
That's nice. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for Paula?
Hi, everyone. So I don't have a specific plan, but I do know I would like to participate in a couple fairs in the next year. And in fact, this was maybe a question that I have is who of you I could speak with to ask specific question about the different fairs you are part on to see what's the best fit for me, like with the experience I have of previous fairs. I might have some specific questions or to understand the differences, because of course each fair is different, right? But that's something I would like to do next year.
Cool. So you mean next year, 2026, or
No, this year, sorry.
2025.
In the coming year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, certainly.
I do know that I'm not in time for some fairs. I have just moved to a new studio which took me a lot of time. So I know it might not happen in the first half of the year, but thinking on the second half, yeah,
Gotcha.
I would like to see opportunities.
Well, certainly, you can chat with me or with Eric. We're familiar with not only, of course, our fairs, but we know a lot about fairs that are across the country. Another place that you might take a look at is Art Fair Calendar has a call that you can attend. And there's people that are from all over the country who are art fair organizers. And that might be something that gives you some insight.
Yeah, especially maybe with where the price ranges that each fair works with, more or less, or yeah, and understand a bit the
Well,
nuances.
so I would say in terms of fairs, what you can kind of anticipate is that fairs like ours, which are indoor, white wall, gallery style fairs, are going to be more expensive than an outdoor fair where they just supply you a space and you supply everything else. So street fairs, festivals, outdoor fairs, local fairs, those are going to be less expensive. And if they're local, you don't have to consider, the travel expense as well. So, those are all things to think about and research.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Linda, is Art Fair Calendar a website or what is that?
It's a website.
It's a website with all the fairs on it.
Yeah, a lot of for the most part, what they post are the independent street fairs and festivals
Around the country?
around the country. Yeah.
And I guess
Good to know.
those are
Thank
all
you.
fairs, where artists show directly, not gallery fairs.
That's
Or
correct.
both.
Yeah. So Art Fair Calendar would be, some of them are more, I'll call them art and craft fairs. So you just need to be careful about, where you're exhibiting, so that you're not in a craft fair that is kind of happy hands at home sort of stuff.
Yeah, maybe I will take a look a bit at those and then maybe ask you or Eric what you think of some specifics.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Prince, you had your hand up.
Hi, Linda. So good to see you. I hope all is well. So I do have a question, and hopefully it won't take too much of your time. It could be a compound question. Is how do we, what's the best approach to contact museums for our artworks? I know that it's, I don't know the process. I've been trying to contact a few museums here in California because I do have some artworks that I truly believe that belong in a museum rather than at a fair. But getting that front door is always difficult. And so I just want to know is like, do I need to have like a business plan, a resume, and if you have any contacts that are museums that are looking for African artworks.
Well, I think that is always the challenge, is to find the place where, you know, your particular artwork could fit. And once you've identified that museum, then you need to reach out to the curator.
Curator. Okay.
That's who you want to, you know, and don't reach out until you've got, you know, kind of, I'll say, your ducks in a row, so that you've got a presentation, you've got, you know, the story of the artist. You've also got perhaps some of um, the accolades, the provenance of the pieces, so that, you know, if you think about a museum, what do? A museum puts on exhibitions. And
Okay.
exhibitions aren't just, you know, putting artwork up on the wall, or sculptures on pedestals. It's a story, and presenting the story of the artist, the artwork, the history of it, the provenance of it. All of that is what a museum exhibition is all about. So you have to kind of come to them with, you know, those pieces put together so that they can see. If you The easier you can make it for them to, I'll say, plug and play, the more because their resources, you know, museums across the the country, around the world, their resources are limited. So when you see some of these large exhibitions that travel from, you know, Philadelphia to San Francisco to Dallas, wherever they're traveling to, those are major shows that have, you know, Uber sponsorship, support. And, but the museum has a certain amount of dollars that's going to put on those kinds of, you know, major, oh my God, exhibitions. But at the same time, they have to fill up their other spaces. And so a museum that has either a gallery, like, you know, major museum, the DeYoung Museum in San Francisco has a very major gallery, with African art. So
Oh, what's the name?
the DeYoung Museum,
Eddie Young.
DeYoung.
Oh, DE. Okay.
So, but how do you get into the DeYoung? You've got to have, you know, all of that put together to really, be able to tell them a story
Okay.
and capture the attention of the curator who's in charge of that area of the museum. The other thing is there a museum that really focuses on the African diaspora? That's a museum that would be a natural. So it's, you know, it's it's a difficult, challenge, but it could be a lot of fun, to be able to get into, a museum show like that. And also look, as I mentioned before, for, you know, local museums or small city museums, that have particular interest.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have Paul here on the line. I don't know if he can speak, but he says thank you so much for hosting him. You know, it was a really, really great experience. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. We look forward to seeing his work again.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
What else, guys? Anybody else with a plan? What's your plan? Sophie.
I've got a long list for 2025. I've worked for the past month. I've redone completely my website. It's a brand new website. So it's I launched it last week. I'm gonna launch it on social media and everything in the coming days. And part of my plan for 2025, I'm not gonna name everything because it's really long, is do my inventory, build my mailing list, which is another story altogether. At least send a newsletter at least once a month to the mailing list, and attend a workshop in Europe, perhaps, and go to fairs. And I'm still trying to decide which fairs I'm going to do this year, and
Good,
many more.
good, good.
And while I have the speaker, I want to do a special mention to Vivian, who's really doing great on Instagram. I'm sort of
Oh,
jealous because she posts all the time.
oh, wow. Thank you. I wanted to ask you how your trip to Miami went because you went there during the Redwood Art Group fairs and you were going to look around and explore the area for different fairs.
Did
And
you did you were you at the last meeting in December?
oh
Oh, that's
no,
it.
I wasn't.
Okay.
Oh,
It
okay.
was it was a lot of fun, a lot of insight. I was mostly looking at, always where I fit in to all of this. It's very contemporary. Miami's very contemporary. I saw thousands and thousands of pieces of artwork because I did 8 or 9 shows. I was really, really happy to be on the big screens at Redwood and at Red Dot and Spectrum Miami. That was really, really cool, and I had a great time. I had a great time,
Good.
and I'm glad I went.
Cool.
It's a lot. Miami is a lot. It's unlike anything else.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend that if anybody is thinking about exhibiting in Miami, you two things. Come if you're an exhibitor in Miami. It doesn't matter, what fair you're exhibiting or what gallery you're exhibiting in, but try to bring a friend, a buddy, a partner, so that the two of you can kind of divide and conquer. Somebody can be in the booth space while somebody else explores what's going on in the city, and then vice versa. It's a very art rich experience. There's so much going on, and there's so much to see and do. It has become the largest international art event on the planet. So and it's unlike unlike the Biennale, the Venice Biennale, which is also, a very large event, but it's also spread out throughout the city, and it goes, for weeks, months at a time. So it's a very different kind of experience, a different kind of situation, where Miami Art Week is exactly that. It's a week, and it's high profile, very intense, lots of people. we had we had just over 40,000 at Spectrum and Red Dot over 5 days. So it's yeah, I love it, but it's exhausting. We all needed a break when we got back.
How were the sales, Linda?
They were fine. We don't track sales, so
Okay.
we
Yeah.
we only what's reported to us and what we can see. So it was comparable to, 2023 and 2022. 2022 was the largest Miami attendance that we've ever had. And I think that that was really coming off of the pandemic and everybody wanted to be out. And the attendance this year was almost to a person exactly what it was last year. So, the art lovers were out, they were buying art, and everyone was, very interested in seeing what was new and what was happening. So kind of cool. Well, we've been on for about a half an hour. Anybody got anything else, a plan to talk about? Yeah, Anna.
Hi, Linda. How are you? Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
good.
Yeah. Well, I do have a list like Sophie, and but one of the things that two things that I want to achieve. I do a lot of things throughout my week and my month, and I've been trying to organize myself like in tasks to do in specific days of the week, because I think you get more productive. I'm trying to do this, for a while, but now I'm, I want to really to implement this on my routine. And another thing, I've been reaching out, and during the past 6 months, I did some partnerships with architects and art advisors, which were really good. So now I'm putting together this list of architects, art advisors, curators, and galleries, like small galleries. And I did this in November and December. I'm starting to invite them in the studio, because whenever they come to the studio, it's a completely different situation. So I think my biggest challenge is to bring people to my studio, because whenever they come, it usually is great. So now I'm putting together this list and I'm inviting them. So, my goal is to every week invite, like a couple of, people from these groups. And of course, they won't, reply yes at first, but, throughout the time, eventually I'll have a few visits. So this I think would be good. And well, I'm planning to go to the Redwood Miami fairs in the end of the year. For me, it's always a challenge because it's cost, with the traveling and everything, and the currency exchange right now, it's really up in the sky. But I'm planning myself to go to show my work at the Redwood Spectrum, right? Spectrum. And by the way, on this fair thing, Linda, I've been approaching by galleries, like trying to sell like wall space. And I've never done this. What do you think about this? Of course, I always research about the gallery to see if it's reliable or no. But I don't know, because I sometimes I think that, if a gallery has like, little spaces with all of this artwork mixed together and one gallery representative there trying to sell, I don't know. I'm assuming this might happen in Redwood fairs. How do you see this?
Yeah, I think that it depends on the reputation of the gallery. And there are galleries that the term I'm about to use definitely applies, and it's called a vanity gallery. And it's a pay to play situation.
Okay.
But my question always for those kinds of galleries is, what are you, the artist, getting? What does that mean? What kind of support are you getting? What kind of coaching or counseling are you getting? Are they your partner, or you're just filling up wall space at a fair? And I think that the other thing is to ask them to tell you who some of their other exhibiting artists are, and reach out to those artists and find out what their experience has been. So, are you going into a gallery and, so there's vanity galleries, and then there's also galleries that are cooperative galleries.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
a cooperative gallery is where there's really a group of artists, and some of that might change over, the course of a year, but that group of artists is kind of together, um, managing that gallery. So there's a requirement of the artist to be in the gallery a certain amount of time. There's several of them here. There's a couple of them right here, in the city that I live in.
Mhm.
And I know some of the artists in it. On Tuesdays they're in the gallery, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
different galleries are set up
Mhm.
differently. And if it's a gallery that is interested in your work and wants to bring your work into the gallery, um, on a consignment basis.
Okay.
And that is very much how a lot of galleries today operate. And so then you need to find out what that means.
Okay.
And what I always say is, sure, I'll consign, how many pieces do you want altogether? 4. Well, how about if I consign 2 to you, and or
Mhm.
3 to you, and you pay me the wholesale price for the other one, so that they've got skin in the game. You're not just sending your artwork and
Okay.
putting it up on the wall.
Oh,
So, it depends on what their proposal is.
okay.
Yeah.
Whenever it's just like that email with size of the wall prices, it's more
Yeah.
likely that's a vanity gallery, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Okay.
I think that there's, for example, Arte Vita has a big booth at Red Dot, a big booth in Art Expo, and a big booth in San Diego, and they do a call for artists, and they
Mhm.
put it out on the internet. If you've gotten your name on their mailing list, they send it to you, to
Mhm.
let you know that they're doing the call for artists for Art Expo New York.
Mhm.
And that call for artists may mean that there's a small fee for applying, and many um, uh, galleries, organizations that are putting on events, do a call, and it requires a small application fee.
Okay. Okay.
So, you know, it's
Yeah, it's
certainly,
tricky.
Arte Vita is a very reputable company. They they support their artists. They've got a whole
Mhm.
staff of people that come to the show. So it's not, as you said, Anna, it's one person
Mhm.
trying to sell 25 artists' work.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
you just need to do your homework and check them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Prince, you had another question? Can't hear you. You're on mute. Still on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now I can. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So also just quick announcement is that I did open up my first gallery. So it's actually in my studio. So I
That's
had to
great.
kind of makeshift my whole studio into an art gallery. So I had at least 10 visitors come by my studio. And so it was kind of funny because I have the kitchen right next to Paul J's Best Selects Award. And so like so it can make it work. If you're curious about opening up your own gallery, you can use your own studio, which I did. So, but now to my next question. I kindly would like to know, is there a service out there that you can hire someone to sell your artworks at a fair? Like, for example, like, I could not be there in Miami to sell these artworks, but is there some sort of like a website where you can go hire somebody? All you do is ship the works to them and they can sell it for you? Is that something that his services out there, or maybe because you can't be, at two places at once. So that's my thought.
I'm not aware of any services like that, but getting a gallery that's a good partner
Okay.
is probably the best way to achieve, something like that, where you've really got somebody who is partnering with you to represent the artwork. That, I'm unaware of anyone that, other than there are some art collectives that they don't have um, a physical space, but they do art fairs, excuse me, across the country. And being part of an organization like that, you're going to pay to participate for sure. But that might be a way to achieve that as well.
Right. So strong partnerships with art galleries, but also you said art collectives.
An art collective is someone who creates a consortium of artists.
Okay.
They don't have a gallery space. They don't have a physical space, but they represent artists at art fairs and festivals across the country.
Wow. Is there a website or no? Or do you drop a name?
You have to find them.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do my homework.
Yeah.
Great.
And they usually call themselves a collective.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Or they might call themselves an art dealer.
All right. Okay.
Okay, well, listen, for the next session, so Hannah, I was thinking for the next session that maybe we do a social media focus. So we talked about your plan. Now let's start to drill down a little bit. And let's talk about the social media piece and how much to invest. How do you grow your following? And I know some of you have got some pretty good stories in terms of what you've been doing, and what the results have been. So how do we layer on top of that? I think that that's one of the things that would be really good to talk about. So let's plan for that. Yeah, Hannah?
Yeah, I said absolutely. And feel free to submit any unique questions you have, and I can create some tangible content for you guys.
Yeah. So we're here. I'm going to say one more time because we've said it before. Some of you have taken us up on this, but if you're interested, and if it's part of your 2025 plan, to have an article written about you, your story, your artwork, we would love to do that for Art Business News. So all you need to do is reach out to me and we can get that going. Sophie, you had one more question. You're on mute.
Yeah, I saw that there's like a Redwood contest for prizes or something like that. Are we
Oh,
allowed to
thank you.
participate?
I had that on my list and I totally forgot. Yes, so we just announced, and actually the emails are going out today.
I got the email.
Yeah. There's two contests. One is the inaugural Redwood Art Prize. So for this, there's categories of artwork that can be submitted, and you can submit to, each category. You can submit as many times as you would like. There is a $15 fee. So we're in that game, as are some of the others, of a $15 fee for each image that you submit. And what the winner gets is the winner gets exhibition at Art Expo New York, and bunch of other stuff. So that's the
Link.
Redwood Art Prize. The other contest is art, and we'll probably continue the Redwood Art Prize for other fairs. It's not quite as, it won't ever be quite as prestigious as the Turner Art Prize, but we're working on it. We're working on it. The other contest is the Art Expo Digital Photo Contest. So I think you've got a great photo. It can be submitted. And what will happen there is this kind of becomes a very interactive contest. And there's different categories as well. And the 15 finalists will be in each category, will be on screens at Art Expo New York, and the attendees will vote for their favorites. And there'll be winners in each category as well as an overall winner. So the contests are posted. The application form for both of them are in the chat. Click on those now before we go off, because each one of the landing pages has all the information, all the prizes, all that stuff. And the applications are open through the end of February. And the winners or the finalists, depending on the contest, will be notified no later than March 6th. So that, for the digital photo contest, we've got the photos. But for the art prize, artwork will need to be shipped to be on display at Art Expo New York for the 4 winners that go on display for New York. So yeah, so exciting. And we've already got, Hannah's got it out on social media. And so we've gotten a few applications already, but we're looking for a lot more. So yeah, so take a look at what you've got. And
what are the deadlines, Linda?
Pardon me?
What are the deadlines?
February 28th, the end of February.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, listen, have a good month ahead. We'll see you in the middle of February if we don't talk before then. So have a good one. Keep that plan rolling.
Thank you very much, Linda. Thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
week. Have a good month.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.